It was a brisk afternoon in the heart of Greville, a charming yet tense city where old brick facades stood next to gleaming skyscrapers. The juxtaposition of the past and present created an atmosphere that felt both familiar and restless. Dana Carter, a poised woman in her early 30s, strolled out of a cozy cafe, a favorite retreat from her busy life. Clad in a tailored coat that emphasized her elegance, Dana carried a quiet grace that made her presence magnetic, though she never sought the spotlight. Dana was married to Ethan Carter, the city's police commissioner, a man known for his integrity and commanding authority. Despite her position as the commissioner's wife, she had always insisted on living an ordinary life, cherishing her independence and privacy. Today was supposed to be no different, but as Dana approached her car, her peaceful afternoon was about to unravel. Two officers, Blake and Thomas, appeared suddenly, their patrol car screeching to a halt mere feet away. Their stern faces and scrutinizing eyes pierced through the calm, and the tension in the air was palpable. "Excuse me, ma'am," Officer Blake called out, his voice firm. "We need to ask you a few questions." Startled but composed, Dana turned to them, confusion clouding her expression. "Is there something wrong, officers?" she asked politely. Blake exchanged a glance with his partner, Thomas, who stepped forward. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in this area. We need to search you," he said, his tone leaving no room for negotiation. Dana's heart raced, but she maintained her composure. "Suspicious activity? I just came from the cafe," she explained, gesturing to the paper cup in her hand. "Is there a reason you suspect me?" Her calm inquiry seemed to agitate the officers. Blake's stance shifted, his arms crossing as he narrowed his eyes. "Are you refusing a search?" he asked sharply. "No, I'm not refusing," Dana replied firmly, though unease crept into her voice. "But do you have probable cause?" Before she could say another word, Thomas reached for his handcuffs. "Turn around," he ordered curtly, his tone dismissive of her objections. Shocked, Dana hesitated, her mind racing. "Search me? Why? I've done nothing wrong." Blake's expression darkened. "Turn around, ma'am. Don't make this harder than it has to be." Onlookers on the busy street averted their gazes, unwilling to intervene. The sting of humiliation surged through Dana as Thomas cuffed her wrists and began an invasive search. He rifled through her handbag and tugged at her coat as if searching for contraband. The scene was degrading, and Dana's sense of injustice deepened with every passing second. It was clear to her why she was being singled out: her skin color. When Thomas finished, Blake smirked. "You sure you're not hiding anything?" he asked mockingly. Dana's patience had worn thin. "I'd like to call my husband," she said, her voice resolute. Blake chuckled dismissively. "Go ahead. Let's see who he is," he sneered. Unfazed, Dana pulled out her phone and dialed. The line barely rang before it was answered by a deep, commanding voice. "Dana, what's wrong?" Relief flooded her as she heard her husband's voice. "Ethan, I'm being searched. Officers Blake and Thomas. They've cuffed me and are accusing me of I don't even know what." There was a moment of silence on the other end, followed by a calm but firm response. "Where are you?" "Olive and Maple, near the cafe," she replied, her voice trembling slightly. "I'll be there in 5 minutes," Ethan assured her before the call ended. Dana straightened her posture, drawing strength from the knowledge that Ethan was on his way. The officers, sensing her defiance, grew uneasy. Their smug confidence began to waver as they noticed the attention the scene was drawing. Within minutes, a black SUV screeched to a halt. The car door swung open, and out stepped Ethan Carter, an imposing figure in his police commissioner's uniform. His sharp eyes blazed with controlled fury as he approached. "Commissioner Carter," Blake stammered, his face paling. Ethan's cold, authoritative glare silenced any further attempts at explanation. "Step aside," he ordered. The officers quickly complied, their earlier bravado evaporating. Ethan turned to his wife, his expression softening as he looked her over. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. Dana nodded, though the humiliation still lingered. "I'm fine, but—" She glanced at the officers. Ethan's demeanor shifted instantly as he faced them. "Explain yourselves," he demanded, his voice icy. Blake faltered. "Sir, we had reports of suspicious activity. She matched the description." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Matched the description of what? Did she resist you? Did she pose any threat?" "No, sir," Thomas admitted, his voice barely audible. Ethan stepped closer, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "Then why did you feel the need to harass her? Was it because she's black? Is that your only justification?" Blake opened his mouth to respond but faltered under Ethan's intense gaze. "Sir, we were just following protocol." "Your protocol is broken," Ethan interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "And you're about to face the consequences." The weight of Ethan's words hung heavily as he pulled out his phone and contacted Internal Affairs. "Officers Blake and Thomas are to be placed under immediate investigation and suspended until further notice," he instructed. Blake and Thomas stood frozen, their faces pale as Internal Affairs officers arrived to escort them away. The crowd watched in silence, the gravity of the moment sinking in. Dana stood beside Ethan, feeling a mix of relief and sadness. "I'm sorry you had to endure this," Ethan said softly, his protective arm around her shoulder. "It won't happen again." As they walked away, whispers rippled through the crowd. The incident had been a stark reminder that no one, not even law enforcement, was above accountability. Justice had been served, but the emotional scars would take time to heal.